For every stage of your business, you need different people. Even your driver. Remember, it's not how much you make, but how much you keep. I want you to be very, very good at your finances. If you're going to be a great entrepreneur, I want you to know your numbers every time. If you have 10 accounts, I want you to sleep every day knowing the amount of money in all of your 10 accounts. To cover, it's good to be a good leader. You then can control that out. Yes.
Adetola Nola's vision is to raise 200 successful African entrepreneurs who will in turn create employment by 2025. Adetola Nola is an excellent, driven and innovative entrepreneur with positive energy and experience instrumental in redefining success in growing businesses in Nigeria. He is the founder of Veritasi Homes and Nola Travels. He's also a major shareholder at a bank in Nigeria. He's been listed in the Forbes 30 under 30 business class of 2019, Advanced Media 100 Most Influential Africans 2020, Business Day Top Entrepreneurs to Look Out For in 2020. He has also been nominated for different awards, including the World Economic Forum Young Global Leader Award in 2020 and the Future Awards in 2020. We are more than excited to have Adetola Nola on this panel. Let us have a standing ovation as we welcome Adetola Nola.
It's raining. Thunder. Give it to him. Now.
There are a lot of smart people. What smart people do, they think, and then while away time or plan. You know, a lot of Nigerians plan. I've worked with a lot of people, to be very honest. I think in school we are taught to plan, think. I know I have these ideas. I have this. Much more courageous people have made money than thinkers. Much more doers, much more executors have made money than the think. They think, and then while away time or plan. You know, a lot of Nigerians plan. So as a CEO, you have to know how to execute. You go, you have an idea, you execute it. If you have 10 ideas and you can execute one perfectly, you make money. So that means you have to, first of all, when you want to start a company, you need more loyal people than smart people. Usually, smart people, they want to be like you. If they are like you, why would they work for you? This is the reason. When you have loyal people, they stay. And they believe in your execution and your ideas. So they stay true. That's one of the things when you're starting, especially when you do not have money. So, plus another thing is, you do not want to have management problems. Smart people are so difficult to manage. I'm not saying that don't have smart people on your team, but I'm saying that when you have the structure to be able to manage them, that's when you should get a lot of smart people on your team. Putting at the back of your mind that these people are leaving very soon. There's one thing that Ridley said they did when they acquired Access Bank. They actually had to create a school. They still run it today. Especially creative people, they are very unstable. All these graphic designer, all these people, they're very, very unstable. I've never seen people that are more unstable than them. Architects, all of this, you can't manage them. They're very unmanageable. They want to leave. You have to train yourself to make good decisions. And then you have to train your staff, that your loyal people, to make nice decisions. Before I forget, right? You need different people for different stages of your business. Different people for different stage of your business. Because I said you need more loyal people to start, right? Good. Those loyal people, right? If they do not upgrade themselves, do not take them to the next level. I know I sound a bit ruthless now, but some of the best CEOs ever are a bit ruthless, you know? And remember, it's about your business. You don't want to suffocate your business, right? So let's say the size of our balance sheet when we start is 2 million. You are the accountant, you are not chartered, and you do not have a lot of qualifications, right? Good. And then we scale very fast due to my good decision, but you're a loyal staff. And then after 3 years, I have to push you to get chartered or to, to make up for the growth that we are growing. If you then, by your own decision, decide not to scale with us, I might not really sack you. I'll just take you to site. Look at that. It's the best decision for the company. That's how to do it. For every stage of your business, you need different people. Even your driver. Maybe, when you started, you were using a driver that comes like 9 o'clock and close by 4 o'clock because, of course, there's not a lot of work. But right now, you're trying to buy a bank. That's huge stuff. You're trying to buy a bank. You need someone that resume your house like 6 o'clock, close by probably 9, that can, maybe when you're in meetings, know where to keep your iPad, know how to organize it. Little things like that. Even your PA, you have to upgrade. I'm not saying sack that old driver. You can give them to the other people to manage. But you need new people for different stages of your business if they don't scale with you. Going back to the slide. So he said, making significant decisions, you have to train your mind to make good decisions. You have to make much, much wonderful decisions than the wrong ones. See, even in football, as a coach, I've heard Adetola said one time, I think it was a final between Madrid and Bayern. He accepted. He said, we used a particular tactic. We thought that it was going to be right one, but we were very wrong. That's a leader making a wrong decision. And that cost him what? The Champions League. Since then, he's not won the Champions League. Look at that. Maybe he wanted to use 4 defenders and he just thought, let's use 3 defenders. And it backfired. So you have to train your mind to make nice decisions. Then I said strategic thinking and innovation. See, all of these things, I'll go there in the skills needed for entrepreneur. Strategic thinking, and you have to be innovative. I don't know what level you want to take your companies to, but I know that if you are trying to be a unicorn, right? What's a unicorn? Yeah? What's a unicorn? Yeah? What's a unicorn company? Yeah? Simple. Yeah, simple. In fact, I think I have to start giving money out in this class. I think I have to start giving money. Eh? A unicorn, $1 billion company. A company that's valuation is $1 billion. I want you to know that vision sometimes, do I want to call it vision or goals, changes. Sometimes you start a company because you just want to be all right, you just want to scale it. You want to be able to live, have a family, buy 1 or 2 cars and, make your family, be able to have your wife give birth in America, all those little stuff. And then when you start, boom, and then you say, what, I can be great at this thing. I can be really great. It's just the same way when we started real estate, it was more like, let's just settle, let's just make a bit of money, like some 10 million naira, let's just, sell that land and be okay. And then, when we made 10 million naira, and then, it was to survive. Then it became, I can actually live with this thing, right? I can live my day-to-day life, right? And then when we were living with it, we were actually really living it. We were making some few millions. And then, I thought about it, I can actually be great at this thing. Look at that. Survival, living, greatness. Do you understand? people start saying, you know what, you're a great entrepreneur. And I'm like, you know what, we can take this thing all over the world. We can be a unicorn company. We can be more than that. Look at that. So, a $1 billion company. If you then want to be a unicorn company, okay, you have to be very innovative. Very, very. Strategy thinking and innovation. I'll still come to that. And then I said the last one is the making and keeping a lot of money in the bank. If you're a CEO of your company and you don't make money for your company, I mean, what are you doing? You're just doing your hobby. Yeah. You have to make and keep a lot. Remember, it's not how much you make, but how much you keep. It's not how much you make, but how much you keep. Do you know that some entrepreneurs make a lot of money and then and they lose that same money by maybe the cost of money, right? Or taxes. Do you know what I mean by cost of money? Do you know what I mean by cost of money? See, first of all, let me tell you something. I want you to be very, very good at your finances. If you're going to be a great entrepreneur, I want you to know your numbers every time. If you have 10 accounts, I want you to sleep every day knowing the amount of money in all of your 10 accounts to cover. That's how I operate. That's how most people operate. Every day I check, you know, so I sleep in my head knowing how much money that I have. You have to know your numbers. All the people that have made billions of naira, you know, and did not go to school, they are very good with numbers. Very good with numbers, right? So if you are making money and you're not keeping it, maybe you are losing it by investment, you know, or you're losing it to tax, or you're losing it to high cost of money. I still want someone to tell me the meaning of cost of money. Tell me.
I think cost of money is what it took you, what you went through to actually make that volume.
You are almost right, but you are not right.
The energy, resources, effort.
You're almost correct. Give classy here. Oh.
I think cost of money is money you have and then you think of how to invest it. Like you talked about knowing the money you have in your account. Right.
I don't want to give bites because I'm scared he's going to get it. Go on.
Yeah. For me, I think cost of money is exchange valuation. How much you have and then how much value that's.
You're almost there. Give.
I think cost of money is dollar to naira valuation.
They're not correct. I didn't say you're wrong. Let me tell you, it's very simple. Cost of money. If you have the money, if you make a particular money, there's always a cost to it. If you take the money from the bank, right, the interest, right, that amount that you're paying back on that money is the cost of that money. And one day I was in one of my a big bro office in London, and he told me, I see, get a good HR to manage these people. Everybody cannot be like you. If they be like you, they want to start a company that you own. Why should someone like you work for you? See? Why should someone that is like you work for you? Then I started to learn to slow it a bit down. Yeah? Slow it a bit down. So look at that. The last one. Leadership, strategic management. It's good to be a good leader, but it's not necessarily entrepreneurial to be a good leader. You then can control that out. Yes, you can. You might be a very good strategy person, good finance person, good motivator, good negotiator, in all of those, and that's what you need. And then you then say that, HR or next person, I want you to manage all these people. I want them to be able to perform at their possible best. I want them to report to you. 3 people report to me. But look at those 3 things: finance, strategy, sales, and marketing. You have to edit yourself when you're starting. Finance is good. It broadens your head, opens your mind. I want you to take courses on finance, right? So service value is easy. It's like, when you have an asset that's depreciated, you have an asset that's depreciated. The little value that is left is what they call the service value. That's when it's a tangible asset. Your finance on point, your strategy. The strategy on point. See, let me even tell you something. if you have a bad leader, you're a bad leader and manager, you can still survive because you get a good HR, very wonderful people manager. If you're bad with finance, you can still survive, at least for the first 2 years. Strategy 2. If you are not selling, forget it. If you're not selling, what are you doing? And you know what? A lot of companies have sales problem. If you're not selling, forget it. Forget it. You're not doing anything. You're not doing business. Just having, what the heck are you, hobby? I want to ask, what's the difference between a non-executive director and an executive director in a company? Or when you see, executive director, what do you think? What's the difference between a non-executive director and an executive director? Anybody that wins this, 20,000 naira.
So I think an executive director sits on the board. He has power to make decisions. You know, and he's just a member of the board. Probably just more like an honorary member of the board, but does not have voting power.
Come again.
So an executive director sits on the board. He has voting powers and make decisions.
Okay.
Or a non-executive director also sits on the board, but it's more like an honorary member.
If nobody has better answer, you go with 20K. Well, let me check. Yeah, if anybody has better answer.
My name is Daniel. Chief Director is involved in the day-to-day operations of the business. He's also a member of the board, while the non-executive director is not involved in the day-to-day operations. Also a member of the board.
That answer was better than yours. If anybody has a better answer, 20,000.
I think a non-executive director is an absentee director. He's not necessarily involved in the day-to-day business of the company. But an executive director is involved in the day-to-day activities.
I don't like the word absentee. You're not qualified. Last one, Daniel, last one. Sorry.
An executive director are kind of like internal employees of a company, and they are involved like in the daily running administrative duties of the company, while a non-executive director are they are not employees of the company, they are independent of the company to provide like an external view of things. So
both of them are correct. Let me give one question then. Anybody that gets it right between both of them, give this. An executive director is on the board, right? Are they nominated or employed?
Executive director is nominated.
Yeah?
They're nominated.
executive directors are employed, while I think they are employed.
Yeah?
While non-executive.
Okay. I think she wins. She just won the 20K. Don't worry, I still have a lot of 20K to give out today. So keep answering questions. Listen, let me explain from the start, okay? So there's a board of directors, okay, which sometimes we regard to them as very powerful, okay? There's a chairman board of director, like they have, well, it's rightly said, all the people on the, all the people that are on the board are nominated by shareholders. So listen, you can be a shareholder on the company and nominate yourself on the board, right? You can also be a shareholder and nominate another person. Look at that. Yeah, but the difference between an executive director and a non-executive, executive director participates in running the company, the management, right? A non-executive is more like an advisory board. Look at that. So it's more like an advisory board. A non-executive director is normally employed. Everybody that manage the company is employed. Trust me, the board people can sack a CEO. The board. That's what happened in First Bank. They kept sacking the CEO, right? So if you are participating in the management of the company, you can be sacked by the board. Because meaning that the shareholder in a publicly listed company still have everything, every say, right? What just happens sometimes is there's a CEO. When you want to make a CEO very powerless, all of the board members would then put forward a management staff. That's when you hear something like, the CEO cannot sack me, and I'm just the marketing manager. Why? Maybe because I'm on the recommendation of the chairman board of director. Do you understand? So there's a board of director, there's an executive director, right? There's a non-executive director, which is usually an advisory board member. What they get is just service fee. They do not get salary. Anybody that gets salary in a company is employed, right? So non-executive director just gets service fee. They're nominated. Maybe they have like meetings quarterly, maybe 3 or 4 times in a year. It's the CEO is the head of the management, management team. It's the one that makes decisions, do all of those things. Of course, shareholders are the people that not every shareholder has the right to nominate someone on the board. Look at that. So, for example, there was a company that we bought into, and then because that I was trying to get on the board, so that I can have a bit of influence, and then I think one of the MOU that they had was you have to own 7%. I mean, it varies from company to company. Sometimes say, you have to own 5% of the company for you to have a board seat, and 7%. And the amount of money that we were going to inject was going to give us 5%. But because of influence, and then the people, the CEO, they want me on the board because they feel like I can bring a lot of business to them. They then give me an exemption to say, if you have 5%, you can then nominate yourself or someone on the board. That happens too. Do you understand? So I want you right now, it's not just for publicly listed company. I want you to have a very strong board of director, and a good management staff. You can do it from even when you're privately placed. A privately placed company is a company that's not gone IPO. Do you understand? And usually, let me tell you, this is not a rule. It's just what people do. What I think that I have seen from some of the meetings, some of the board that I belong to. Because of your board must not be full of just men. See? It must not be full of, you have to balance it or almost balance it. Some people are very sensitive to that. They want to invest in your company, they check. And they see that, it's only got men. It's only got men. And they don't just come, right? And Rachel, if you're going to form a board in Nigeria, especially countries that are tribe sensitive, what they do is they pick someone from what? North, East, South. They bring one Hausa man, one Yoruba man, one Igbo man, or two, or they just mix it to be what? Racially or tribally balanced, right? So you're tribally balanced, you are what? Gender. Again, we consider religion. So if on your board you have just Christians, some people want to bring money and say, no, this one, all the pastors on the board, all of those things. So you balance it out, especially when you have Hausa anyway. A lot of Hausa, most Hausas are Muslims. You balance it out, right? So, but these are some of the, that's being a bit biased. But unbiased, these are some of the people that you have. First of all, you have to have one very influential people on your board. That's why before you know it, and they say, let's talk about this company. They say, the Tinubu that wants the company. You know why? Because Tinubu is on a lot of boards. It might not even be a shareholder, but usually nominated by shareholders. You know what? Because you can open any door in Nigeria through Tinubu. So you need one influential person. Look at it, right? So if you have a real estate company, and then imagine you have someone like Tony Aspire, your board, advisory, you have a bit of leverage. Why? Because then Tony Aspire leads one of the biggest brokerage firm in Africa, okay? And then you can then, as a board member, because he wants your company to do well, then he can then influence people to market for you. This is an advice that we're giving to a company, and it's what? See? Look, if you then have, let's say another real estate company, And then you have someone like Tony Elumelu on your board, advisory. Yeah? Tony Elumelu cuts across all, is very influential. You should not have money problem. Do you understand? Because you're a finance struck person. Good. If you then have another company, let's say a finance or any kind of company, and then you then have someone like Falano on your board, Isan, right? Then people are a bit scared to attack you legally because they believe that people know these things, right? So I want to invest in a company for the fact that let's say I want to put like a 1 billion in a company. If I manage to see Hubert Wigwe or Shegun Agbaje on your board, I'm good. I'm good. These are leaders of banks, big banks. For some reason, I just think that, my money cannot get stolen or be lost. And that's why people like Wigwe will boast that I'm on the board of more than 200 companies, because people then invite them to be board members. Of course, they have to do their own due diligence on you. You need strong, influential people on your board. I want you, when you get back now, to sit down, create a very good, wonderful company structure for yourself. Create a good members of board. Chairman board. This person. Put a call through to them. Let your lawyer write them. Have a meeting with them. They will accept. They will really accept, because if they think that you're a visionary, they want to be part of something great as well. And most people do not really reject advisory board. Trust me. They will accept, and then form your board, make it registered in the CAC. So when people check it, they see all of these strong people and they can do business with you. Corporate governance is a bit abstract, right? But you need it to scale. You really need it. One day, one of my friends was, all of these people would then create a very good, article of association, memorandum of association, all of these things for you to have a very strong company ethics. One of my friends, I was telling you, was saying that when they raise funds, so when all these companies raise funds, right, they get diluted. Dilution is like they lose equity, right? They then become a subsidiary of that big company, maybe in the US, because in the US, they cannot give a Nigerian company funds, right? So there will be a company, let's say Veritas is a company, let's say Stripe and Paystack, right? Stripe and Paystack. So Paystack has gone to Delaware or to San Francisco to raise funds from Stripe. Stripe has believed, but the investors in America, the VCs, all of those boys, do not want to put their dollars because of a lot of things. So they want to put in Stripe, right? And Stripe has said that Paystack is our sister company, right? So Stripe will take the fund, give to Paystack to take it to Nigeria. Look at that. So meaning that Paystack has become, then Paystack will then lose equity, then gets the board diluted a bit by some of the people that Stripe trust. This happen everywhere. Stripe trust, right? And then Paystack will then have money to run the business, right? But follow the ethics of Stripe every time. One of the ethics of Stripe or American companies is that you must not give or accept bribe. When you raise funds or you go IPO, as they say, I'm the one that started company, they can chase you away. You know what? There's investors fund in your business now, right? The investor supersedes you. If you're not running the company very well, they will demote you. It does not stop you having your shares, but you can stop being the CEO of that company. Steve Jobs, thank you. That's another story. So the ethics of that big company, you follow it by the article of association, memorandum of understanding, all of those things. But go back home, okay? Create that mindset that I want to win in every economy, bad economy, good economy. I'm going to the UK, it's a finance space. I want to know what makes money in this season. I want to make money. I'm going to Gambia, it's a clinical space, tourist or something. I want to know what makes money in this season. I want to make money. I'm going to this, make money in a bearish or a bullish economy. That's what rich people do every time. if Dangote's $1 billion has reduced, it is not because it has not made more cash, right? It's because it's domiciled in Naira. It's made more Naira, but less dollars. Look at it, because when it was a big boy at $16 billion, dollar was maybe 150, one something. But now, it's made more Naira. If it was still 150 Naira, right, it would have gone to $21 billion. But it has gone down. That's why it went towards $8 billion. That means in a bad economy, Dangote made more money. In a bad economy, you have to make money. In a good economy, you have to make money. Because in a bad economy, in COVID, a lot of people made nasty money. Food people, people, all of these people. Real estate. Of course, I think. Do you understand? So, I said in building a board in Nigeria, you should involve a lawyer, a financial expert, influential person, across tribe and religion, diversity and auditor independence. Go to the next slide, please. Raising capital, okay? See, please.
So, question I want to ask is that he said the reason why he can't come on our board is because he's already a top leader in that industry. So I want to ask,
Is that what?
He said because he's a top leader in that industry. That's answered Mansard. Is there? So I want to ask that, is that actually a barrier or the reason why he had rejected?
Is he a finance person?
Yes.
Yeah, finance people actually, to be very honest.
An accountant.
Yeah, finance people don't just go on any board because finance is well regulated, highly regulated industry. Do you understand? So, for example, I was trying to get someone in FMDQ. Like I was trying to get someone in NASDAQ, actually the CEO of NASDAQ Nigeria. Okay, I was trying to get that person on board, right? But because he's the CEO of an exchange, a lot of other companies try to list through them. It gave me good reason why he can't be on board. I then know that finance people are very careful, especially financial advisors, because they manage a lot of people's funds, and then it's a barrier for them unless they can be a consultant and they will not be registered, right? So someone can actually consult for you to say, you run to him when you have problems, or come to your company sometime, check your books, check some of the decisions you make financially and all of those, but might not be able to be on board because, of course, if he's on board, he's going to be registered, and then he might be out of the ethics of his own company or of his own profession. Do you understand? So usually, I know that finance people have that. They just don't jump on anybody. They are very careful, especially on what company do you run again? Real estate. I've had that problem a few times myself. So I think you should just make him an external consultant. Let him come.
Outrightly, he just said no because he said a branch of their business also into investment. So they do, and he himself too in particular, he doesn't want to have anything to do with real estate because he doesn't believe that real estate really generates funds as he expects. So he'd rather put his money on cryptocurrency.
If someone can do crypto, you should be able to do
Forex and all of that.
But I mean, there's no problem. I think, let me tell you two things, right? What's your real estate company? Land bank homes. Make your company attractive. Make it very much more attractive. Build your brand very greatly. It will come back. I'm telling you. I'll tell you. If anybody can do crypto, should be able to do real estate. What's he saying? But to be honest, I know finance people are always very careful. You know why? Because if you're a finance person and then they're careful with the board they jump on, especially when involve investments with people, because a lot of people take investors' funds and do not perform. And when they check the people on, he might lose his license. A lot of other things. So they're usually always careful. But when they see that they're a big company, financially stable, and then they have some other people, they know, right? It's just like one of my Egmont that, got, what's that law firm? Banwo and Godalo. I think they're CEO on the board, and then he was trying to get CEO of Stanbic IBTC. It was a woman then, and the woman was like, she then asked, let me know the people that are on your board, and I then see, the Banwo and the Godalo people. And I said, yeah, this one, I've done business with them. because they are here, I'll come. And then she came around. You understand? So I think if you're not attracting that person, attract some other people. And then when you attract some other people, because of them, this one would come. You understand? But if someone is not trying to jump on your board, then the person can consult for you.
Okay. Thank you. My question is on the board. How does one pay the okay? How do we pay these people member of board like you just started that like you want to be all these experts like Insan, the professor around all these people?
Like I've said, okay, like I've said to you, right? They do not have a salary, only service charge. Board seats. You do not have to have 16 people on your board to start. You can grow it. So you can have just 3 people. An influential person, a finance and a lawyer person. And then even if it's, 10,000, just for them to advise you, they believe in the company. They are not just there for the money. They want the company to grow. So when they grow, they grow with the company as well. So when it grows, if their board sitting was like 10,000 before, and what board of directors know that when they sit on the board of a company, they can have influence. They can then say that, okay, this is my daughter, the chartered accountant, go and meet the CEO because I belong to board. But you should not employ because it's the daughter of the board person, but because she's smart and is capable of being an accountant. Do you understand? So they know the advantages of being on the board as well. Do you understand? So they will not just say they're not going to be. But you don't need to have 16 or 15 people. You can start with 3 and then you scale like that. Do you understand? Let me quickly, okay, so I've said this before, and I keep saying it. When you want to start your business, see, all kind of finance in the whole world is either debt or equity, or even in investment. All investment in the whole world is either debt or equity. Debt is, remember when we talk about cost of money, that is when I take a money and then I have to return it, And I want you to know today as entrepreneurs that you can negotiate anything with anybody, right? What's an MPR? Thank you. Monetary policy, right? Good. All your debts, right, should, how do I put it? If you take a debt, let's say you take a debt at 18, right? I hope you know that when bank give you money, it's in commensurate with this monetary policy rate. Even not when anybody gives you money, they look at the investment instrument that's running around that time to give you money. Right? Sometimes MPR is what? 12. And bank give you money at the rate of which they take money. So when they take FD at 12, or at 13, or at 14, they give you at 20. They tell you the MPR is high now, right? When it goes back, the same way bank can come to, if they give you money for you to pay at 16%, they can come back to meet you to say that, the MPR is high now. And it's even in their contract. They actually always put in their contract that we want you to pay 20% now. And then you drag, and you agree on 18. It happened to me before, right? And then the same way, that's why I said you should understand your finance very well. When the MPR now reduces, it's when you can now go back to the bank to negotiate your debt. As an entrepreneur, you have to know how to use debt. You have to be able to negotiate your debt and know how to refinance your debt every time. They call it refinancing. So I can say that I've done it before. I can say that I've taken a 1B at 20%, right? And then the MPR has reduced my business. My cost of money is very high now. Okay, I can then go back to them to say, this 20% I want to reduce to 16%. Yeah, and then before maybe it was 3 years payment, and then I want to expand it to 5 years. That's refinancing. You should know how to do that. When you're using debt, you have to be smart. But note, you only use debt to scale. When you already have your shit together, don't use debt to start a business. It runs you down. It runs you down. Why are you using debt to start a business? It's to scale. You already have your structure. You have your corporate governance. You're already making some millions of naira. You've gotten your production right. You've gotten your sales right. You have to use debt to scale. Note, you will not scale faster or scale fast if you don't know how to use debt. Nobody uses company's money every time to do more projects. That's why you see, I was showing them on Nairametrics that the biggest debtor is what? MTN Nigeria, as of today. The biggest debtor is MTN Nigeria. They have 568 billion naira debt, followed by Dangote, followed by Transcorp, followed by Seplat. Thank you. Seplat is second. It's second. Do they not have money? They have money. But you know what? You have to use debt to do more projects. You cannot take that, In fact, let me tell you something. If I check your balance sheet, the amount of debt that you can attract can tell me a lot about the amount of asset that you have. You do not even need to tell me that, I have a house in here. If I see that you have a 4 billion naira line from First Bank, I know that First Bank will never give you 4 billion naira without you having 10 billion naira in asset class or cash flow. I know that. So if I see a 4 billion naira, I know that this guy is they will see. That's what they always say, that all the poor people put their money in the bank because they don't know how to use money, and they gather all the money for those poor people to give that business guy that has maybe 1 million naira or even nothing in the bank. Yeah, because what? It's got assets. And it knows how to use money. Look at that. They know how to use debt. So you have to know how to use debt. You have to know how to scale. You have to know how to scale. You have to know how to use debt very well. That's how people scale. Do you get that? So now you're starting a business. You have to know how to use your debt very well. You have to be financially smart. Okay? But that's when you're scaling. Do not use debt to start. I've said this before. Don't start with it. It puts you under a lot of pressure. It puts you under, sometimes the cost of money is even very high because, of course, they know that you're just starting and it's high risk for them. And because it's high risk for them, they bill you at, high percentage. So, they want to ask questions again. This is the 4th slide, but still going to 24. When you want to start, all of this business, I want you to find a partner or get a bit diluted, release some equity, bring some people on board with you and use that money to start. But I'll always say, go back to my last slide. I'll always say that customer money is the cheapest. It's the cheapest. It's the cheapest money. You want to build, Byte wants to build 50 houses, and then you manage to sell off plan. You've not taken any money from the bank. They're not paying any interest on it. I still regard it as debt, but it's cheap capital. It's the best. Customer money is the cheapest. Use it. Use it. Use it. And then, maybe I'm still going to talk about that in the customer retention strategy. I've always said it that when you have a customer, okay, one of the things that's helped is I've grown with my clients. Some of the clients that sell with us when we were selling, that land in the Begileki, because one thing, they'll make money. The same way you're making money, they also make money. So let's take afford 500,000 land now. When you are, in the next 1 year, they can afford a 10 million land. In the next 2 years, they can afford a 100 million to grow. You have to know how to milk those kind of customers. Milk them, milk their network, not in a bad way, but it's cheaper for you. LCV of customer is cheaper for you than acquiring a new customer. Do you understand? So that sales, I think, is one of the things that my brother Kennedy knows how to do. He told me one time that that's when I was talking to you about forwards. So he told everybody that he was going to build 1,000 houses in the next 5 years, right? And then 1,000 or 2,000, they ran the campaign. And then, if I'm selling the house for 32 million naira now, in the next 5 years, it might be 50 million naira. See? And then if I now tell you that, buy the house for 32 million naira now, because in the next 5 years, it will be 50 million. In finance, I think they call it forward. You're selling forwards, right? And then you take the money. And then he told me that he was able to, I think 1,600 people were able to give him 1 million naira each. When I calculated the money, it was 1 point something billion. That's cheap finance. That's cheap capital. It's the cheapest. It's not even started building. I'm sure then he didn't even know where to build the house. Do you understand? But he did that. That was smart move from him. So sales, customer money, it's clean. If you can get it, it's the cheapest. But debt is good also, but I always advise for you to, scale with it. And especially if you know how to use your debt very well. If you then say that, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, I don't want to take debts, I don't want to, I don't know, I was not taught that in business school. But you should know when the MPR reduces and go back to the bank to negotiate your rate. You should know when you are paying too much of interest and then you want to refinance your debts, from maybe 5 years to 10 years. You should know all of these little things, right? And then your equity, in your company should be so precious to you that from a company, they're trying to raise some $1 million, that equity, of course, they're going to get diluted. They then approach a company, a bank, for a $200 million debt. Look at that. They're trying to raise $7 million. But there's a cost of this. There's a cost to raising this money. So instead of taking money out of their company to raise this money, which might affect their production, they then went for another debt. So they know that we need debt this time. What's their collateral? I don't know. I think it's telling the bank that, we're almost raising $7 million. That's our collateral. And then give us $200 million to be able to raise it, because we have raised $2 million before. And they did it. They knew how to use debt. They knew how to use what? Equity. Good? Good. Let's go to the next slide. I said this, it's not about the amount of money you make. It's the amount of money you keep. A lot of things take money away from you. Taxes. I keep repeating tax because every single year I always have tax problem. Not because I try to evade tax, but because I don't try to give a tip. I don't try to give a tip on tax. I make my money, I try to hold it in assets, buy the land, when then I probably want to build, I quickly, so I don't try to stay liquid. I have some of the best tax people that help me. But, and that's why I stopped doing interviews. Remember, it's not the amount of money you make. You can make a lot of money, and then your cost of sales, your cost of money is high, and then you lose them. But entrepreneurs are usually always deceived. When they see a lot of money in the bank and they think they are the owner of that money, but you're not the owner of that money. Do you understand? So you have to know that you are supposed to keep a lot of money, not just make them. And then as a CEO, apart from strategic thinking and making wonderful decisions, that's one of the other jobs, making and keeping money for your company. That's number one. I said you have to know how to separate your personal money from your bank money. Look, I love charity. I try to give a lot of people money and, but I try not to do it from my company's account. I do not do it. I do it from my own money. Even if I have, if I get broke doing charity, it's my money. You understand? I can get, but I have separated my money from my business money. In fact, our portfolio, I try to, see myself as a portfolio manager. So I'm young. I'm just 30, going on 31. So what I usually do is I take a lot of risk with my money. I love taking risks. It gives me joy, okay, with my personal money. So the way I manage my own portfolio is different from the way I manage the company's portfolio. So the company makes money, but I know that the company cannot afford to take a lot of risk. So I'm either buying assets for the company or even stacking the money in the bank to be business ready. Do you understand? So what I mean by business ready is when you always have cash. Because a business can jump and say, I don't have cash today, and it's next week. But before next week is gone. So I'm always business ready for the company. Okay? And then, I try to stack my money in dollars. Dollars is very scarce now anyway. That's my dollar supplier. Do you understand? So what I'm saying is the way you treat your money is different from the way you treat your business money. Your business is your baby. The way fathers take care of the baby more than themselves. or mothers. Let me even put mothers. That's the same way. So you invest for your company, not in a risky way. Not in a risky way. I don't use my company's money to do forex, but I do forex with my money. I even like the thrill of it. You know, that thrill that, you know what, we can lose money or we can make 500%. I love it. So when you're telling me that, oh, I can do this forex, yeah, me, I should believe you've done a lot of forex stuff that we just wake up in the morning, with the crash, we move, you know. But I do not try that with Veritas money, okay? Or with, you know, I do not try to buy crypto with Veritas money because I do not understand crypto. Someone will come to my house and say, I'm more Bitcoin, Shiba, can I call this one? I say, okay, great. How much have we put in? There was money we put. How much did we even put in the crypto? In that figure, now I'm like, okay, thank you. It was good, right? But it was good because it was my money. I like to take that risk. It gives me joy. You know, there's a rule of thumb of investing. I've always said that about when you're, you know, when you're young, you should be taking a lot of risk. You know, I don't think I want to delve down into that. You should be taking a lot of risk. And then when you're nearing that age of 50, your portfolio should be balanced. You know, your risk portfolio, your risk bucket should be balanced to your security bucket. And then when you're aging, you know, like 70, then your security bucket should be very high, and then your risk bucket should be low. You know, but right now I'm still young. That means most of my money, 70% of my money, is going to that risk bucket. I'm taking more risk, especially risk that can give me 5% more reward. Look at it. If I invest 1 naira to get 5 naira, don't do this with your company's money. It's just one of my investment strategies that I learned from Tony Robbins. If I can invest 1 naira to give me 5 naira, look. If I invest 3 naira, or 4 naira, and I am wrong, meaning if I invest 1 naira 4 times and I am wrong, if I manage to be right 1 time, 1 time, it gives me what? 5 naira. I've still made profit. Have I? That's craziness. You know, don't do anything that will give you 5 times your company money. You can do it with your business money. But it's another way of making, you know, crazy investment that I do, right? So it's called the principle of being wrong and still winning. So you can be wrong and win. It's an investment strategy. So I'm looking for a land that I'll buy for 10 million in the next. So I'm hearing that, okay, there's 40 million bridge. It's going to pass through Korea. And then, by the way, I'm looking for a land that I'll buy 100 million. And in the next 3 years, it's going to worth 1 billion or 500 million. And I buy 5 of that, thinking that my one will give me 5. So I can be wrong about Fort Milan Bridge. I can even be wrong about the seaport in Ibedileki. But if I'm right in 5 years, it covers up for all my wrongs. Look at that. You can be wrong and still win. That's crazy strategy. Don't use it for your company's money, please. I want you to invest safe for your company. Treat it like a baby, okay? Always be cash ready. And your cash should always be warehoused in a currency that is stable. A currency that is very stable. What's the next one? I said bond. I like bonds because so bonds are considered not risky. You know all these treasury bills, treasury notes, all of these bonds are considered not risky because it's like government taking a loan from you and then returning it back. I think they even pay the interest beforehand, right? They take the interest beforehand. They're considered not risky. So if you buy treasury bills, it's like you loaning, you know. So if you have a company's money that you really do not need at that particular period, I mean, you can invest in treasury bills. Sometimes all of these money managers do some money market mutual fund. When they say money market, it's just English. When they say money market, they invest in, they find different other money market treasury bills. This one, invest with this one, anything that is money related, and then they calculate the average. But usually they put most of the funds in government instrument. You understand? That's why last year when the money market mutual fund rates fell as well, because that's what controls. Before they used to be very lazy and make money. All of us give them money and you just take it to central bank, get 15%, and then they give you probably 12% or something, and they make the spread, right? But now, because when that thing, crashed down, they then now found creative way to say, hello, Nola, what are you investing in? Oh, what? I want to put money in your company. All of those things right now. But I said bonds because they are considered very safe. I don't think, I read in history that government has defaulted in just one, I think in America, in a particular state in America, and that's why they formed the SEC, Security Exchange Commission, right? That's a long time ago, And not just government issue bonds, even corporate companies issue bonds, right? So you can buy treasury bills for your company, and then when you need money, and then you liquidate it, just for it not to just stay in that, just stay without making money, because you always have to be investing, but very low risk investment. Even when you have dollars, you can still invest. There are a lot of asset management companies that take dollar investments. Yeah, good. Then everything that I've said is just there. So that's how to keep your money as. Go to the next slide, Gary, please. I said other ways of raising money. Okay, so right now you started your company. You know that I'm trying to recap. You started your company. You know the CEO mindset. You know that there's little or nothing executive about being CEO, and you know that you have to be brilliant in your finance, in your strategy. You have to lead your sales and marketing team. You have to be able to motivate them. And then if you're not a good people manager, you can then have a good HR to manage your people. Because sometimes great entrepreneurs are not wonderful people managers. I cited the case of Steve Jobs. I've listened to a lot of people talk about Steve Jobs. I think even his daughter did not have a good thing to say about him, But did he create a $1 trillion company? Yes. Do you understand? And then when you've not done that, I want to create a good corporate structure for yourself. Wonderful corporate governance. Form a good board lawyers, finance people, your just wonderful board of directors, good corporate structure, finance people, and then be able to use debt very well, be able to know when to use equity, when to get diluted, all of that. So when you must now have a bit skilled up, right? And then there are other ways in which you can actually even still raise money that people don't really probably tell you every day. Does anyone know what's the promissory note here? Another 20,000 naira. Tell me.
It's something that just tells you that there's what give the certificate or whatever security you have for an investment you're making now for the future, that you're putting your money in the right place. That just tells you. A positive check is an example of a promissory note, and I think there are others too.
She almost got it right, unless she didn't involve or she didn't mention. Okay, you want to say something? Give him and then I'll call him.
Is an instrument that the party is promising the other party, and you're not writing about it, the promises that you're going to make. But it's just a kind of financial instrument.
I'll call you the next. I'm sorry, let me quickly go. So both of them would have gotten it right, unless they didn't mention illegal documents. Okay? Because illegal documents, I've never seen anyone take a positive check to court. I don't know, it probably happens. But you can take a promissory note to court to say, listen, this guy I've signed. So it's like me saying, you probably you've invested the money in our company, and I'm issuing a promissory note to say, this is at 12% after 2 years, and it's a legal document, and I sign and you sign, right? That's a legal document, can be used in court of law or anything. The promissory note, it's just a form of bond as well, but now a legal document. Those are ways that which companies raise funds with, especially companies that's not gone public. They issue promissory notes to people and then they take money. Don't let me stay too long on this. So difference between, see, what's the meaning of an IPO? So initial public offering is when a company is publicly listed, right? It's gone to the exchange, to the public, right? But private equity company can also then sell their own equity. Do you understand? When they've not gone public, because to go public sometimes, especially in Nigeria, you need a lot of compliance, a lot of things, right? And then, so some of the advantage that private placement has over IPO is that compliance stage, you're cut it off, right? And then, maybe probably a bit faster, and then just the compliance, and then you've not gone public. So it's like selling, equity privately. So for private equity company, you have private placement. Then I said issuing bonds, selling forwards. What's the difference between forwards and futures? A 50,000 naira question. Forward and futures.
So, forward, the futures are listed on the stock exchange.
Yeah, what?
They are listed on the stock exchange. I said futures are listed they are sold on the exchange, while forwards are not. That's cut.
You're almost right. Well, 50,000. I can't release it like that. Give me more.
My name is Zeno. So I think our futures are stock that on the stock exchange are very volatile, very risky to really invest in.
You are not correct. Okay, you know what? Okay.
I think forwards are stock that are traded over the counter, while futures are stock that are traded by the exchange.
Yes, you're almost correct. But there's some, we're going for a break now, right? I want you to, while you're eating, to find out about forward and future and tell me after the, but let me quickly explain what forward is.
Wait. I think forward is private, and then future is.
That's everything they've said.
What?
That's everything they've said.
No, I'm not trying to.
You can even try to win the 50K. They won't be trying to win the 50K.
Well, it's fine.
Okay, let me quickly, explain what forward is, right? Look at it, eh? So, how do I explain this? Let me go to little layman terms. So, what do you sell? Eh? Real estate. Everybody, real estate. What's happening? Eh? Who is doing another thing that is not real estate? What do you do? Well, you do real estate too. Well, catering food.
Catering food.
Can I use catering food to explain forwards? You know Forex. How come you don't know the meaning of forwards? Oh, you sell cars. Okay, let me use that. So, for example, now, there's Veritas here as a company that gives at least 10 cars as incentive every quarter. Okay? And then the last time, when they bought the car last year, it was probably 2.5 million. First time it was 2 million. Another time it was 2.5 million. Another time it was 2.8 million. It kept increasing. Then I come to your company to say, you know what? We'll give you this money now. Okay? Now, then we need this car in the next 2 years. Okay? But we want it for that 2 million in 2 years' time. Right? You just sold us forward. Simple. So in finance term, that's it. Do you understand what I've said? Explain to him. Because you were nodding your head.
So that means you're forward, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
You are trying to normalize. So,
Same price, but forward in the future.
So how I purposely explain like that because I want to really break it down to you. So let's say a bank now, you're a bank, okay? I have a dollar, I have $1 million at 350, and of course maybe the $1 million would depreciate, and I give you the bank, and I'm saying no, I'm collecting in 10 years time at that particular naira rate. So we depreciate or appreciate, you're giving me at that particular. That's it. Do you understand? People are just nodding. When we go on break, go and Google something and come and explain. I'll call everybody. So IPO is but to be very honest, I'm sorry to talk, but I have to say this. I think that crowdfunding is a very stressful way to raise money. You know, apart from the fact that it involves a lot of people, right? And then you have to manage all of those people. So there was one time in which when we created the Veritasi hostel scheme, and then we were trying to build the 1,000 rooms, got approval for it, and then for some reason I didn't think that I could approach a bank because I think they gave us for 30 years. They gave us the land for 30 years to use, and then we decided to crowdfund it. So then it was, I think, to build that 1,000 room, we needed like about 2 billion. I can't remember. That was what the BFU said then. And then all of these things was me deciding in my office, right? The wholesale scheme and stuff. And I said, you know what? Then I called Toby, said, Toby, you know what? Let's go to the market. Let's break this thing into, let's sell one room for, how much were we selling? 1.5 million. It was supposed to be a crowdfund project. And then let's promise these people interest for 10 years. I think they were going to get 400K for 10 years, which was good. If you divide everything, they were doing an average of 16% yearly, So they have invested 1.5 and they're getting 4 million. 400,000, that's 4 million in 10 years. And then we even did it in such a way that we said that if there happens to be an inflation or anything, we'll cover up for that every 3 years at some percentage. We did that, right? Good. And then very quickly, when I knew that it was a brilliant idea was when we threw it to the markets, okay? Quickly, we got 70-something investors. 76, giving us 1.5 million. It was a cheap fund, okay? Because of course, we've just gotten 1.5 times 76. And of course, we pay commission. It leads to, I don't know how much we pay in commission. Maybe 100,000. So we had 1.4 million to play with. But trust me, the cost of managing that 76 people was crazy. We had to hire staff because they were calling us every day. When are you starting construction? So when is that? Oh my God. What have I done? The cost of managing is crazy. Imagine that 76, we had to stop it. Imagine we had raised 1.5 million from 1,000 people. And then we do not have the structure to support, the amount of information they want, the amount of meals, because they have to be managed as well. So listen, I then one day was in a discussion with one of my Providence guys, and I said, I have this project that is hanging right now. I have raised this amount of money, but I want to give them back their money because the wahala is so much. Even because during COVID period, they didn't allow us to start construction in school, and then the cost of construction was getting high every time and all. And you can't go back to this place to start negotiating and say, you can't get 400K again, start getting 300, they'll kill you. Trust me. They just need to go on Instagram and say, but that is this guy, I've always known he's a Yahoo boy. But then, bank can fund it. Then Ola said, we're a mortgage, because the number makes nasty sense, a lot of sense. Numbers were good, And then bank said, why didn't you tell us? We can fund it, we can give you the money for 10 years. The cost of money from the bank was probably a bit higher than just getting directly from your customers, right? But I would have executed the project much more easier and faster with getting bank money. Trust me. And you know what? If anything goes wrong, nothing will go wrong. I can go back to Providence and say, this is what's happened. There's COVID. I want you to refinance my debt, or I want you to add 1 year, remove this year. I can say, how many people do I really want to call? 1,000 people. Hey, come, you are not getting your interest this year. You understand? I think personally that you have to know when to use crowdfunding. But it's a way. Crowdfunding is also a way to raise, funds. Good way, People have raised money. He's done some crowdfunding before for a farmer. He told me despite the fact that he ran into trouble. People always run into trouble. He ran into trouble, but a lot of people have crowdfunding projects and successful, and they know how to manage. Maybe we need to be taught how to manage crowd when they fund a particular project. But it's also a way for you to consider. See? Then initial public offering, it's just simple. You now have a very good company, it's making money, you have all of those compliance, tax something, tax clearance, audited financials, and then, but that's another topic for another day. Be one of my finance classes, then we'll discuss IPO. Do you understand? But it's a very good way for an entrepreneur to exit. If you want to exit, the company has gone public, right? But of course, there's some amount of shares that they've refused to sell, right? And then they need money again to raise. They go back with SEO, a season equity offering. They offer it back to you, and then they make money again. SEO, yeah. Read more about that. Go. I want to talk about strategy after the break. After the break. What's the time now? So 12. Okay. So because strategy is another crazy, yeah, very long. So I'm thinking let us eat, have fun, then talk about strategy.